Welcome, friends, to another episode of Speaking from the Heart. This is a space where we explore spiritual wisdom rooted in the gospel and universal values, and discover how it can meaningfully shape our business, work, and personal lives. Hi, I'm Richard Fontenay, and today we embark on one of the most profound invitations of our spiritual journey. Know thyself, know thy true self. At first it sounds simple, almost like an ancient proverb to hang on the wall. But this is more than just self-improvement or personality awareness. It's about releasing what keeps us captive, accepting the present moment, connecting with the divine inside us, and finding freedom from our ego's traps. Jesus said in the Gospel of Luke, "The kingdom of God is within you." Now, these words remind us that true self-knowledge isn't about inflating our egos or comparing ourselves to others, but about discovering the presence of God already dwelling within us. Let me share a story. It's about a successful executive who one day admitted that despite her accomplishments, she felt empty inside. And every achievement was like putting on another mask, until mask after mask, she no longer recognized the woman behind them. Her ego thrived on success, but her spirit was starving. It was only when she slowed down, prayed sincerely, and allowed herself to be seen by God as she truly was, without the masks. And when she did that, she felt truly free. Now, her journey is also our journey. We often define ourselves by what we do, our job titles, possessions, and successes. And Jesus reminds us in Matthew chapter 16, what good will it be for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? Self-knowledge involves remembering that we are not just what we produce. We are beloved children of God. Now, here are 4 critical points for business, work, and life. Letting go of ego-driven identity, accepting the present moment, touching the divine within, and finding freedom from ego's traps. Let's break those down. First, letting go of ego-driven identity. In business, work, and in life, egos can easily take control. We crave recognition, control, and success. But when our identity is based only on the ego, we constantly compare ourselves and fear failure. True self-knowledge calls us to let go. Letting go doesn't mean indifference. It means choosing humility. It means understanding that our worth isn't from achievements, but from who we are before God. Here's a story of a team leader who insisted on having the final say in every meeting. His team felt unheard and disengaged. But when he started practicing mindful listening, truly letting go of the need to be right, his leadership changed. His ego shrank, and his influence increased. Number 2, accepting the present moment. Now, the ego is always restless. It clings to the past or grasps for the future. But God meets us in the now. As Psalm 46 reminds us, be still and know that I am God. In life and work, this can mean pausing in the moment of tension before sending the sharp email. It can mean taking a moment to breathe before making a critical decision. It's in the present moment that clarity comes and the divine whispers. And number 3, touching the divine within. When we dare to look past the ego, what do we find? The divine spark, the spirit that dwells in each of us. This isn't about inflating ourselves, it's about grounding ourselves in the spirit. In work and business, people who lead from this place inspire loyalty and trust. They carry a quiet presence that says, I am centered not in myself, but in something greater than who I am. Number 4, finding freedom from ego's traps. The ego binds us with fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of being less than. But the gospel liberates us. And Jesus tells us in John chapter 8, then you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. Freedom comes when we recognize the ego's voice for what it is, an illusion. And freedom shows up in our relationships, in our places, in our workplaces, and in our communities. It allows us to live with integrity rather than image. Now here's a story about simple freedom as told by a small business owner. For years, he pursued growth, bigger numbers, bigger sales, and bigger everything. But the more he expanded outward, the emptier he felt inside. And one day, after a prayerful retreat, he realized he was chasing the wrong kind of growth. He simplified his business, worked fewer hours, spent more time with his family, and ran his company with integrity rather than greed. And that freedom that he found wasn't in scaling up, but in scaling inward, knowing his true self before God. Now let's bring this podcast to a close. Know thyself, know thy true self. This is not a navel-gazing exercise. It's about discovering the God who lives within. It is about letting go of the ego, embracing the present, and touching the divine spark and walking in freedom. Now, I invite you to reflect on this message. What insight, word, or phrase resonated with you in this message? What touched your heart today? What is one concrete way you and I can turn this teaching into action? Whether that's in our business, our work, or our lives. And how might we share this reflection with others so that our communities grow in humility and freedom? Now, as you ponder these questions, remember, true self-knowledge is not self-centered. It's God-centered. And it is there, in that sacred center, that we find joy, freedom, and peace. And as Richard Rohr said in his book, The Immortal Diamond, The Search for Our True Self, quote, "The true self is who you are and always have been in God. And at its core, it is love itself." End of quote. Now, next time on Speaking from the Heart, we'll talk about emotions that are both and. How they can either lead to destruction and brokenness, or, when tamed and transformed, how they can guide us toward peace, love, and reconciliation. Until then, may you walk in the light of God's truth, free from the ego, and live in the Spirit. I'm Richard Fontenay, closing off for now. Let's meet again next week, if not before. Bye now.